As you rest your head tonight, allow the world around you to fade into quietude. The noise of your thoughts, the lingering tension in your muscles, the constant hum of your daily struggles, all can be set aside. Imagine this moment as a calm lake, its surface smooth, reflecting the still sky above. No waves, no disturbances, just pure presence. This is the essence of Zen, the gentle art of letting go. Zen invites you to stop striving, to cease the endless chase of thoughts that never seem to bring peace. As your body sinks into the comfort of the bed, let each breath guide you deeper into stillness. With every exhale, release the weight of the day. With every inhale, embrace the simplicity of being. What would it be like to live a life without the pressure of constant thinking? To free yourself from the anxious chatter that fills your mind? In Zen, the answer lies in presence, the art of being here, now. Not in the past, not in the future, but in this very moment. This moment where everything is as it should be. The restless thoughts that often keep you awake, worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, are like clouds passing through a wide, open sky. They come and go, but they do not define the sky. Zen teaches us that thoughts are simply thoughts, and our true nature is not bound by them. You are the vast sky, not the fleeting clouds. Close your eyes gently, breathing in the simple rhythm of your body. Feel the weight of your body, the subtle rise and fall of your chest. With each breath, invite your mind to settle, as if lowering into a soft, warm embrace. Let go of the need to control, to judge, or to even understand. For tonight, all you need to do is breathe. And in that simple act, you will find the peace you have been seeking. Remember, Zen does not require you to force your mind to silence. Instead, it invites you to observe the noise without engaging. The more you try to silence your mind, the louder it may become. But when you simply observe your thoughts with no judgment, they begin to dissolve on their own. You become the silent observer, watching the thoughts rise and fall without clinging to any of them. This is the practice of letting go. In Zen, it is not about eliminating thoughts or emotions, but about changing your relationship with them. You don't need to hold on to every thought that comes your way. Like a leaf drifting downstream, you can let each thought pass without being carried away by it. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. And as you settle deeper, you begin to notice something subtle but profound. You feel the space between your breaths, the moments of stillness between thoughts. It's in these spaces that Zen reveals its magic. Here, in the quiet pause, is where true peace resides. There is no need to go anywhere or do anything. All that is needed is to be, simply to be. Feel the softness of your body against the bed, the warmth of your breath in the coolness of the air, the peaceful rhythm of your heart beating without effort. Let all of these sensations wash over you like a gentle wave. This is Zen living fully in the present moment, with no striving, no clinging, just pure awareness. The mind may continue to chatter, but it no longer matters. You are not defined by those thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the silent observer. As you allow your body to relax and your breath to deepen, you may notice a sense of calm spreading through you, slowly filling every corner of your being. In this stillness, Zen teaches us that we are complete just as we are. So tonight, let go of the need to fix, to change, to worry. Simply be and know that this moment right here, right now is enough. The peace you seek is already within you, as close as your breath, and in that quiet, you will find the rest that has been waiting for you all along. Zen is full of contradictions, paradoxes that seem impossible to understand, yet are the key to unlocking the very nature of reality. Imagine standing at the edge of a still, serene lake. The surface is calm, but beneath, currents stir, moving in ways unseen. Zen is much like that lake, outwardly simple, but infinitely deep. The more we try to grasp it with our thinking minds, the further it slips away. The answer Zen offers isn't something you can find or acquire. It's already here, in the present moment. In the simple act of breathing, Zen Master Joshu, when asked a question about the ultimate truth, might answer with a seemingly nonsensical statement like, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" Such questions are designed not to be answered by the mind, but to exhaust it completely, leaving only direct experience. They are invitations to step outside of habitual thinking patterns and experience the world as it is, without filters. In our daily lives, we are constantly seeking answers, explanations, and solutions. We ask, "What does this mean?" or "How can I fix this?" But Zen teaches us that sometimes the best answer is to stop seeking altogether. When we let go of our need to understand, we open ourselves to a deeper truth that transcends all the logic and reasoning in the world. This paradox is at the heart of Zen's power. On one hand, Zen tells us that we are already whole, already enlightened, and that no effort is needed to attain anything. On the other hand, it encourages us to practice diligently, to engage in meditation, to cultivate mindfulness in every moment. If enlightenment is already here, why practice? This is the Zen paradox. Enlightenment is not something you can attain by striving. It is something you realize by letting go of the desire to attain it. Think about it for a moment. When you let go of the need to grasp or hold on, you free yourself from the tension of wanting. This doesn't mean you stop living or stop caring about the world. It simply means that your relationship with the world changes. Instead of trying to control it, you begin to live with it in harmony as it is. Zen's teachings are not about making the world conform to your desires, but about seeing the world clearly as it truly is. This shift in perspective can feel like a great release. In the moment you stop striving, you experience peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer fighting with the way things are. This moment, this breath, is enough. The paradox of Zen is that in letting go of your need to control, you find the freedom you were seeking all along. But here's the tricky part. You cannot force this letting go. It cannot be a goal or a destination. You cannot say, "I will let go now." That very thought is a form of attachment. Zen teaches us that true freedom arises naturally when we stop trying to force it. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The more you try to grasp it, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you simply open your hands, the water can flow freely. This is the essence of Zen practice. To stop fighting with yourself and with the world. To stop clinging to outcomes and simply be. It sounds simple, but it is deeply challenging. We are conditioned to always want more, to always seek improvement. But Zen tells us, you are enough as you are, right now. As you are is perfect. This is not to say that you don't strive to be better or grow. It simply means that your practice, your life, should come from a place of acceptance, not lack. In this quiet acceptance, you find a deeper truth, a truth that cannot be understood through the mind, but only through experience. This is the paradox of Zen. To find everything, you must let go of everything to be whole. You must release the idea of being incomplete. So, as you rest tonight, let go of any ideas you have about yourself or the world. Let go of the need to understand, to solve, to fix. Just be with this moment as it is. Feel your breath. Feel the weight of your body and let the simplicity of being wash over you. In this simplicity, you will find the answers Zen offers. You are already whole, already at peace, just as you are. The story of the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, is one that transcends time and culture, offering profound insight into the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. Born into a life of luxury, Siddhartha had everything one could desire: wealth, power, and the protection of his family. But despite all these comforts, a deep restlessness stirred within him, a longing for something more. He could feel it. Even as he lived surrounded by abundance, an inexplicable sense that something was missing. As a young prince, Siddhartha was shielded from the harsh realities of life. His father, King Suddhodana, sought to keep him within the confines of the palace, ensuring he would never witness sickness, old age, or death. But the world has a way of breaking through even the thickest walls of protection. One day, Siddhartha ventured beyond the palace gates, and what he saw shook him to his core. He encountered an old man, a sick man, and a corpse, all of which revealed to him the unavoidable truths of human existence. Sickness, aging, and death were not distant concepts. They were the inevitable fate of every being, including him. These encounters deeply disturbed Siddhartha, for he realized that his life of privilege had shielded him from the very suffering that everyone must face. At that moment, the illusion of his sheltered existence shattered. He understood that all the riches and comforts in the world could not protect him from the suffering that pervades life. His mind was overwhelmed with questions. Why do we suffer? What is the cause of this pain? And most importantly, is there a way to end it? It was with these questions burning in his heart that Siddhartha left behind his life of luxury. He renounced his title, his wealth, and even his family, setting out on a quest to understand the nature of suffering and how to transcend it. For years, he searched for answers, traveling from one teacher to another, practicing asceticism and severe self-discipline. He pushed his body to the brink of death, fasting for days and subjecting himself to extreme physical trials. But despite all his efforts, he found no lasting peace. The more he denied himself, the further he felt from the truth. One day, In a moment of clarity beneath a Bodhi tree, Siddhartha came to a realization that would change everything. He understood that neither indulgence in worldly pleasures nor the rejection of them could lead to liberation. The answer lay in a middle way, a path that embraced neither extreme, but found balance in the present moment. As he sat beneath the tree in deep meditation, Siddhartha realized a profound truth. Everything in life is impermanent. Our bodies, our desires, our emotions, all of it is constantly changing. The more we cling to these fleeting things, the more we suffer. Suffering arises from attachment, from the desire to hold on to things that cannot be held. This was the key to his awakening. The realization that peace comes not from acquiring or rejecting, but from accepting the impermanence of all things and letting go of the need to control them. In that moment, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one, for he had understood the nature of suffering and the path to its cessation. He realized that life, in all its impermanence and uncertainty, could be lived with peace if we stopped clinging to the illusion of permanence. Our true nature is not found in the things we possess, the roles we play, or the achievements we accumulate. True peace comes from within, from accepting ourselves as we are and embracing the present moment without resistance. The Buddha's journey is not just a historical account, it is the journey we all take. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we, too, face suffering in our lives. We, too, seek answers to the deepest questions of existence. The Buddha's story is a mirror reflecting our own search for meaning, for freedom from suffering. And just as the Buddha found peace through understanding impermanence, so too can we. We may not be born into luxury or live a life of extreme asceticism, but we are all bound by the same truths. We all encounter suffering, we all desire peace, and we all seek to make sense of the world around us. As you rest tonight, reflect on this journey of the Buddha. His path is your path, too. The same questions that guided him on his journey guide us still. Can we live in harmony with the world as it is? Can we release the attachment to things that do not last and find peace in the present moment? The Buddha's answer is clear. Peace comes not through gaining or losing, but through letting go of the need to control and embracing the flow of life as it is. In this stillness, may you find your own moment of awakening, just as the Buddha did beneath the Bodhi tree. Let go of any attachment to your thoughts, your worries, your desires. Simply be as you are, and in that being, you will find the peace that has always been there. In Zen, the most radical teaching is perhaps the concept of non-self, or anatta, which challenges the very core of our identity. We often live with a deep-seated belief that we are distinct, separate beings, individuals with our own unique personalities, desires, and life paths. This sense of self feels so natural that we cannot imagine life without it. We identify with our thoughts, our bodies, and our emotions, thinking, "This is who I am." But Zen invites us to look deeper, to question this assumption, and to discover something more profound. The Buddha taught that the self is not a fixed, permanent entity. It is not a soul, nor a core essence that endures unchanged through time. The self is an illusion, a fleeting, ever-changing collection of thoughts, feelings, memories, and sensations. This collection arises in response to the world around us, to our experiences, and to our conditioning. It is constantly shifting, like the waves of the ocean. What we call I or me is not an independent, unchanging self, but a process, a continuous flow of interconnected experiences. Imagine for a moment that you are a leaf floating in a stream. You can see the water, the trees, and the sky reflected in your surface. But you, as the leaf, are not separate from the water. You are part of it, carried along by the current, shaped by the flow. You are not an isolated entity, but a temporary formation in a vast, interconnected system. So it is with the self. We are not separate beings, but part of the great web of existence, flowing together with everything around us. The realization that the self is not separate, that we are not fixed, is not an easy one to accept. It shakes the foundations of our everyday thinking. If we are not separate, who are we? If there is no solid self, then what does it mean to live, to love, to be? This is where Zen practice takes us beyond the mind's limitations. It guides us to experience this truth directly, not as a concept to be understood intellectually, but as a reality to be felt in every moment. The Zen teachings point to the fact that everything is interconnected. There is no I that stands apart from the rest of existence. Just as a wave cannot exist without the ocean, we cannot exist without the people, the environments, and the experiences that make up our lives. We are not isolated beings. We are participants in the great dance of life, connected to everything around us. This realization frees us from the suffering that arises from clinging to the illusion of a separate self. When we believe in a fixed self, we are constantly trying to protect it, enhance it, and defend it. We fear losing our identity, our sense of who we are. We seek validation, approval, and security to solidify this fragile sense of self. But when we understand that there is no permanent self to protect, a great release occurs. We are no longer bound by the need to defend or cling to a false identity. Zen Master Shunryu Suzuki said, "When we stop clinging to the idea of a separate self, we open ourselves to the vastness of the universe. In that vastness, we experience freedom, not the freedom to do whatever we want, but the freedom to simply be. We no longer need to constantly protect our egos, nor do we need to cling to the past or fear the future. We can simply exist in the present moment, fully aware and fully engaged with life, without the burden of a separate self." As you rest tonight, reflect on this concept of non-self. Let go of the need to define yourself by your thoughts, your emotions, or your actions. These are all transient. What remains is the awareness behind them, the stillness that witnesses all things. You are not your thoughts, not your body, not your memories. You are the awareness that experiences them all, the vast sky in which the clouds of thought come and go. This realization of non-self can bring a sense of peace that transcends the fluctuations of life. It is a peace that comes from no longer fighting to protect a fixed identity, but from simply being in the flow of life, in the stillness of the night. As you sink deeper into rest, feel the weight of your body release, and the thoughts that swirl in your mind begin to fade. You are not bound by them. You are the awareness that is present. Even as the mind moves, let go of the idea of you trying to fall asleep. Simply rest. As you let go of your identification with thoughts and sensations, a deeper sense of peace arises. You are already whole, already complete. Just as you are, there is no separate self that needs fixing or improving. There is only the moment. And in that moment, you can rest in the peace of your true nature. In the morning, when you wake, carry with you the understanding that you are not the sum of your thoughts and experiences. You are the boundless awareness that contains them all. The more you remember this, the less you will be caught in the turmoil of identification. You will rest in the vastness of the present moment, free from the burden of a fixed self. In the heart of Zen lies a profound understanding of desire and its relationship to suffering. We live in a world of constant wanting. We want more money, more success, more approval, more love. But Zen teaches us that desire, by its very nature, is insatiable. It is a fire that cannot be quenched, a thirst that cannot be satisfied. No matter how much we chase after what we think we need, there is always something else that eludes us, and in this chase, we are trapped. The Buddha observed that we are driven by desire in every aspect of our lives. We desire pleasure. We desire comfort. We desire control over our circumstances. Yet, no matter how much we attain, we never feel truly fulfilled. The Buddha used a powerful metaphor for this. He compared people to children trying to lick honey off the blade of a knife. The honey might taste sweet for a moment, but the knife cuts their tongues. This is what desire does to us. It may bring brief pleasure, but it ultimately leaves us wounded and unsatisfied. In Zen, the solution to this dilemma is not to eliminate desire altogether, but to change our relationship to it. Desire itself is not the problem. It is our attachment to it that creates suffering. When we cling to desire, believing that it holds the key to our happiness, we bind ourselves to a cycle of longing and dissatisfaction. But when we see desire for what it truly is, a passing moment in the flow of life, we can release our grip on it and find peace. The key to liberation, according to Zen, is contentment. But this is not the contentment of resignation, where we passively accept the circumstances of our lives. It is the contentment that arises from seeing things as they are, without the need to change them. In Zen, we are taught to practice what is called non-attachment, the ability to experience life fully without becoming attached to outcomes or desires. This doesn't mean we stop wanting things, but that we no longer tie our happiness to their attainment. Take a moment now to think about the things you desire. Perhaps there are goals or aspirations you have, things you feel you need to feel complete or fulfilled. In this moment, notice how your desires feel. Are they creating a sense of lack or yearning within you? Are you waiting for something to happen before you can feel content? Zen invites us to let go of the sense of lack. Contentment is not something to be sought outside of ourselves. It is already present, hidden within the simplicity of the present moment. We do not need more possessions, more accomplishments, or more validation. What we need is to see that in this very moment, everything we need is already here. Look around you, the space you occupy, the air you breathe, the sensations in your body. These are enough. Everything you need to experience peace is available right now. In Zen, we learn to practice contentment by simply being present with what is. It is about appreciating the small moments, the ordinary things that make up our lives, the warmth of the bed beneath you, the rhythm of your breath, the softness of the pillow. All of these simple things are enough. There is no need to seek anything more. Contentment arises from the realization that happiness is not a future goal, but a present experience. The Zen master, in his wisdom, teaches us to stop chasing happiness as if it were something outside of ourselves. True happiness comes from within, and it can be found when we stop grasping, when we let go of our desire to control and fix everything tonight. As you lie in the stillness, let go of any desires for the future. Let go of the need to be somewhere else, to be someone else. Just be here. Allow yourself to relax into the present moment. Content with the simplicity of being. You do not need to change anything. You are perfect as you are. In this moment, the world is already complete. As it is, in this simple awareness, you will find the peace you seek. Remember, contentment is not the absence of desire, but the understanding that we do not need to chase after it to feel whole. It is the recognition that everything we truly need is already within us. In the here and now, let go of the need to reach for something more and simply rest in the peace that comes from knowing that you are already enough. In Zen Buddhism, there is a profound teaching that paints the human experience in the form of a wheel, a cycle known as the wheel of life or bhava chakra. This wheel is not just a philosophical or theological concept, but a reflection of the various states of mind we can inhabit in our daily lives. Within this wheel, there are 6 realms, each representing a different aspect of human existence, and each realm is a reflection of our own psychological and emotional state. At the top of the wheel are the divine realms, inhabited by gods, beings of immense power, long life, and great happiness. These beings live in a state of bliss and are free from suffering. But this happiness is deceptive. The gods may enjoy their existence, but they are still subject to the same cycle of birth and death as all beings. In Zen, the gods represent the state of pleasure-seeking, a state that many of us strive for comfort, joy, and satisfaction. However, just as the gods are unaware of their impermanence, so too do we often cling to fleeting moments of happiness without recognizing the transient nature of our desires. Below the divine realms lie the human realm, where we currently live. This is the most balanced of the realms, a place where we experience both pleasure and suffering, but where there is also the potential for growth, understanding, and awakening. In the human realm, we have the unique ability to see and reflect on the nature of our existence. This realm represents the state of balance between joy and suffering, between desire and contentment, between illusion and reality. It is within this realm that Zen practice becomes most meaningful, for it is here that we can realize the impermanence of all things and the illusion of self, and thus move toward liberation. As we move down the wheel, we encounter the realms of suffering, hungry ghosts, angry spirits, and hell beings. These realms are inhabited by those who are trapped in intense desire, hatred, or fear. Hungry ghosts, for instance, are depicted with enormous bellies and tiny mouths, forever yearning but never able to satisfy their desires. The angry spirits live in a constant state of rage, consumed by their violent emotions. Hell beings suffer in extreme torment, their minds and bodies caught in deep, unresolved pain. These realms are reflections of our most extreme states of mind, when we are overwhelmed by desires we cannot fulfill, by anger that consumes us, or by suffering that seems to have no end. The animal realm, which sits beneath the hell realm, represents ignorance and instinct. It is a state of mind where actions are driven by simple desires for survival without awareness, without reflection. In this realm, one is ruled by unconscious impulses and reactions, living in a state of habitual behavior, unable to break free from cycles of pain and suffering. The animals are not malicious, but they are unaware of the larger picture, trapped in the endless cycle of desire and need without ever understanding the true nature of their suffering. Finally, at the bottom of the wheel is the realm of the gods of the heavens, where beings are unaware of their true nature, still living in ignorance of the cyclical nature of existence. The gods may have long lifespans and live in blissful conditions, but they are blind to their eventual death, and their happiness is short-lived. They represent the ignorance of our own minds, the oblivion to the larger forces at play in our lives. So, what does this wheel mean for us as we lie here tonight, seeking peace and stillness? Each of these realms is not just a metaphysical space. They are psychological and emotional states we inhabit throughout our lives. The divine realm reflects our moments of happiness and success. The human realm, our capacity for understanding and wisdom. And the lower realms, the suffering we experience when we are trapped by our desires, our fears, or our hatred. In Zen, the practice is not to ascend to higher realms or to avoid the lower realms, but to realize that all of these states are within us. They are part of the human experience. Our challenge is to become aware of where we are at any given moment and to use that awareness to shift our state of being. When we find ourselves caught in anger, anxiety, or addiction, we are in the realms of hungry ghosts or angry spirits. But when we recognize that these emotions are impermanent, that they do not define us, we move toward the human realm where balance and understanding can occur. When we experience joy or peace, we might feel we are in the divine realms, but we must remember that these moments, too, are impermanent and fleeting. Zen teaches us that liberation is not about escaping these realms, but seeing through them. It's about understanding that each moment, whether we are experiencing joy or suffering, is a passing state, a wave on the ocean of existence. The key to Zen practice is to not become attached to any particular state, but to experience life as it is, fully aware of the transience of all things. We are not the anger we feel. not the joy we experience, not the fear we encounter. We are the awareness in which all these experiences arise and fade. As you lie here tonight, take a moment to reflect on which realm you are currently inhabiting. Are you consumed by desire? Are you caught in fear or anger? Or perhaps you are simply being present with this moment, experiencing the stillness without judgment. Recognize that each of these states is a passing wave. You are not bound to any of them. They will come and they will go. Allow yourself to rest in the awareness that you are beyond the wheel of these realms. You are the vast sky, not the clouds. You are the stillness beneath the currents. In this moment, you are already free in the world of Zen. One of the most central and profound teachings is the concept of the middle way, a path that avoids extremes and leads to true understanding. The Buddha, in his search for enlightenment, realized that neither indulgence in worldly pleasures nor extreme asceticism could lead to liberation. These two paths, so often pursued by those seeking meaning, were both unbalanced and ultimately unfulfilling. It was only when he discovered the middle way, a path of moderation, that he found peace. In Zen, this teaching is not merely theoretical, but practical. It asks us to examine our lives and our tendencies toward excess or denial and invites us to find balance. Often, we swing between extremes, the desire for more and more, or the rejection of everything in pursuit of self-purification. These extremes, whether in our cravings for success, love, or material wealth, or in our avoidance of discomfort and emotional pain, lead us away from peace. Zen teaches us to observe where we are in these extremes and gently steer ourselves toward balance. The middle way is about acknowledging the inherent suffering in life without becoming consumed by it. It is not a path of denial, but a path of understanding. To live the middle way, we must neither avoid suffering nor wallow in it. It is about facing life fully, accepting both its joys and its hardships, and moving forward with awareness and wisdom. We do not seek pleasure for the sake of pleasure, nor do we pursue pain as a form of self-purification. We simply meet life as it is, without the need to label it as good or bad. Think about your own life for a moment. Are there areas where you swing between extremes? Perhaps you find yourself overindulging in distractions like work, food, or technology. Or perhaps you are rigid in your desire for perfection, constantly depriving yourself of the things you crave. Both extremes can create a sense of inner tension, a feeling that you are constantly at war with yourself. The middle way invites you to recognize these extremes and gently release them, finding a space of balance and peace in between. In practical terms, the middle way might look like simple awareness in your daily life. It could mean noticing when you are becoming overly attached to something, whether it is an outcome, a desire, or an expectation. It might involve stepping back and recognizing that in this moment, you can let go of your need for control or for immediate gratification. You don't need to push yourself to extremes to find peace. You simply need to meet life as it comes, with full attention, free from the pull of excess or avoidance. This is where Zen practice reveals its depth. It isn't about achieving something spectacular or about constantly striving for self-improvement. It's about seeing the beauty in what is already here, in the moment before the mind starts grasping for more. It's about being with yourself as you are, without judgment, without expectation, without the need to be someone else or somewhere else. The middle way also involves recognizing the impermanence of all things. Everything we experience, whether joy or sorrow, is transient. When we become too attached to any one experience, we forget this fundamental truth. We cling to happiness as if it will last forever, or we resist discomfort as if it were a permanent state. But the truth is that nothing in life stays the same. Both joy and pain are temporary, fleeting moments in the vast flow of existence. By accepting this, we can find peace not in the pursuit of stability, but in the realization that stability itself is an illusion. As you rest tonight, reflect on how the middle way can guide you. In what areas of your life are you caught in extremes? Is there an area where you are grasping too tightly or pushing away too forcefully? Gently let go of the need to control, to push for more, or to avoid discomfort. Allow yourself to simply be. Be present with your breath, with your body, with the quiet of the night. This is the middle way. No striving, no resisting, just being with what is, as it is. In this stillness, feel the balance within you. You are not here to fight or to fix, but to experience, to witness, to flow with the present moment. This is the wisdom of the middle way. You do not need to go anywhere to find peace. It is already here, in the simplicity of your breath, in the silence of the night. Let go of the need to chase after more. Simply rest in what is, and in that resting, you will find the balance you seek. One of the most profound aspects of Zen practice is the art of letting go, the ability to release our attachment to thoughts, feelings, desires, and outcomes. In our daily lives, we are constantly holding on to expectations, past regrets, future anxieties, and even to our identity. These attachments bind us to a sense of self that is always striving, always reaching for something outside of us to feel whole. Yet Zen teaches that true peace comes not from acquiring or accumulating, but from letting go. Letting go is not about giving up or surrendering in defeat. It is about freedom. It is about releasing our grasp on the things that weigh us down, the heavy thoughts, the relentless desires, the fears and judgments that cloud our minds. When we let go, we stop fighting with ourselves and the world. We stop struggling against what is. This is not a passive resignation, but an active embrace of what is real in the present moment. In Zen, this practice is called Wu Wei, effortless action. It is the realization that we do not need to force life to unfold in a particular way. When we let go of control and simply allow things to be as they are, we experience a deep flow and harmony with life. This doesn't mean we stop acting or stop engaging with the world. Rather, it means we approach life with a sense of ease and openness, rather than with a tight grip of attachment or resistance. Imagine holding a delicate flower in your hand. If you hold it too tightly, you risk crushing it. But if you hold it too loosely, it may slip away. The art of holding the flower is found in the balance in the gentle touch that allows it to be so itself, without force. This is how Zen invites us to live, with openness, without the need to hold on too tightly to anything. We embrace the present moment with lightness, without clinging to it. Take a moment to reflect on the things in your life that you are holding on to tightly. Perhaps there is a thought or a feeling that you are trying to control, a desire that you are desperately clinging to. Maybe you are holding on to a memory, a regret, or a fear. These things, these thoughts and emotions are like the tight grip on the flower. They prevent you from experiencing the full beauty of the present moment. Zen teaches us to gently release these attachments. This does not mean ignoring or repressing them, but rather acknowledging them and then letting them pass through us without identifying with them. When we stop holding on to our thoughts and feelings, they no longer have the power to control us. Instead, we become the spacious awareness in which they arise and pass away. Tonight, as you rest, practice the art of letting go. Let go of any thoughts that may be swirling in your mind. Let go of any expectations or worries about the future. Let go of the need to fix or control anything. Simply allow yourself to rest in the present moment as it is. Feel your body sinking deeper into the bed, your breath slowing and becoming more relaxed. With each breath, release any tension or tightness. With each exhale, let go of the need to hold on. You are not your thoughts. You are not your desires. You are not your worries. You are the awareness that is present in this moment, free from attachment. Allow yourself to rest in that awareness, and in that rest, you will find peace. The more you practice letting go, the more natural it will become to release your attachments, to live with ease, and to experience the world as it is, without resistance or clinging. Zen teaches that by letting go, we do not lose anything. Instead, we gain the freedom to live fully, to experience life in its purest form, without the weight of attachment. In this freedom, we discover a deeper peace, a peace that is not dependent on circumstances, but on our relationship to those circumstances. As you drift into sleep tonight, let go of the need to understand or to control. Let go of any lingering thoughts or emotions. Simply rest in the present moment, knowing that you are whole and complete just as you are. You do not need to hold on to anything. In the letting go, you will find everything you need. Zen is often portrayed as a practice confined to quiet moments of meditation, to sitting still and observing the breath. However, the true beauty of Zen lies not just in these moments of stillness, but in how we bring that stillness into every aspect of our lives. The great Zen masters did not seek enlightenment by escaping the world, but by embracing it fully, by seeing the sacredness in the mundane. The teachings of Zen are meant to be integrated into every moment of our lives, not as an escape from the world, but as a way of living in complete harmony with it. In Zen, every action, no matter how simple, becomes an opportunity for mindfulness. Whether you are washing dishes, walking down the street, or drinking a cup of tea, there is an invitation to be fully present, to engage with life as it is, without distraction or resistance. Zen teaches us that enlightenment is not something that will be found in a distant future or in some extraordinary experience, but in the ordinary moments of everyday life. Consider the simple act of drinking tea. In our busy lives, we often do such things mindlessly, rushing through our routines without truly experiencing them. But Zen encourages us to bring awareness to even the smallest of actions. When you drink a cup of tea, do so with full attention. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands, the aroma of the tea as it rises, the taste as it touches your lips. Don't rush through the experience. Simply be with it, appreciating the richness of the moment. This is the Zen of daily life, living with attention, presence, and gratitude for the ordinary. The practice of mindfulness is not limited to sitting quietly in meditation. It is about bringing that same quality of awareness to everything we do. In Zen, even the simplest tasks, sweeping the floor, preparing food, tying your shoes, become acts of meditation when done with full attention. The key is not to seek special experiences, but to engage deeply with whatever you are doing, to find the sacredness in the everyday. When we are fully present, we are no longer distracted by our thoughts about the past or the future. We are here in this moment with the full experience of whatever is before us. This is the essence of Zen. It is not about reaching some distant goal or attaining some state of being. It is about living fully in the present, fully engaged with the world around us. In this way, Zen teaches us to embrace life as it is, without trying to change it or escape from it. Life is not something to be fixed, and the moment is not something to be controlled. The moment simply is, and our job is to meet it with awareness, with openness, with acceptance. Whether the moment is joyful or painful, peaceful or challenging, Zen teaches us to engage with it fully, without judgment or resistance. As you rest tonight, think about the ways in which you can bring mindfulness into your own life. How can you become more present with the simple, everyday activities you engage in? How can you bring the quality of Zen practice to your interactions with others, to the way you move through your day, to the way you sit in quiet reflection? The answers may not come immediately, but the intention to be present, to engage fully with life, is itself a powerful first step. When you wake in the morning, remember that Zen practice does not end when the meditation session ends. It continues throughout the day, in every action, in every thought, in every moment. You do not need to seek anything special. The sacredness is already here, in the simplicity of the present moment. Simply be with it, and you will find the peace you seek. As you lie here tonight, remember that the most profound practice is not in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary, in the breath you take, in the feeling of your body against the bed, in the quiet of the night. You can find the essence of Zen. There is nothing to seek, nothing to prove. Simply rest in the beauty of what is, and in that, you will experience the fullness of life. Zen teaches us that everything in the universe is interconnected. This is one of its most profound insights, the recognition that we are not separate from the world around us. Our lives are not isolated islands, but part of a vast web that stretches out, infinitely interwoven with everything else. This interconnectedness is not just a philosophical idea, but an experiential truth that we can feel in our bodies, in our relationships, and in the very fabric of existence. Imagine the roots of a tree. They spread deep into the earth, intertwining with the roots of other trees, absorbing nutrients from the soil and forming an intricate, invisible network above ground. The branches of these trees reach toward the sky, each one a separate entity, yet all are connected through the same root system. In the same way, our lives are connected to one another and to the world in ways that are not always immediately visible, but that are always present. Our actions, our thoughts, and our choices ripple through this web, affecting everything they touch, whether we are aware of it or not. In Zen, the practice of mindfulness helps us to awaken to this interconnectedness. When we are fully present with our surroundings, we begin to notice the subtle ways in which we are connected to everything. A simple breath, for example, is not just an individual act. It is part of the flow of air around the world, shared by countless other beings. The food we eat, the water we drink, the relationships we build, each of these is part of an intricate dance of interdependence that sustains life on this planet. When we see the world in this way, we begin to realize that our suffering and joy are not isolated experiences. They are part of the collective experience of life. The pain we feel in moments of loss, the joy we feel in moments of connection are not separate from others. They are shared. In Zen, this is called interbeing, as the recognition that we do not exist in isolation, but in mutual dependence with all other beings. One Zen story illustrates this beautifully. Two monks were walking along a muddy road when they came across a woman dressed in fine clothes, unable to cross the puddle in front of her without soiling her robes. Without hesitation, one of the monks picked her up and carried her across the mud. Afterward, as they walked in silence, the younger monk could not contain his thoughts. As monks, we are not supposed to touch women, especially beautiful ones, he said. Why did you carry her? The older monk responded, I left the woman by the puddle hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? This story speaks to the core of Zen's teaching on interconnectedness. The older monk acted with compassion in the moment, without judgment or attachment. The younger monk, on the other hand, continued to carry the burden of an old story, an idea about what should or should not be done. In that simple act of carrying the woman, the older monk showed that in each moment, we have the opportunity to respond to life with compassion, free from the mental constructs that divide us from each other. Zen invites us to release these constructs and to live from a place of open-hearted connection. When we stop seeing others as separate from ourselves, when we recognize that their joy and suffering are not different from our own, we begin to act from a place of compassion. This is not a compassion born out of pity or obligation, but a natural response to the understanding that we are all interconnected. Take a moment now to reflect on the people and beings in your life. How often do you treat them as separate from yourself, as if their joys and pains are theirs alone? How often do you forget that you are not an isolated individual, but part of the vast, interconnected web of life? As you rest tonight, feel the interconnectedness that exists between you and everything else. Feel the support of the earth beneath you, the air around you, the countless beings that have made it possible for you to be here in this moment. In this moment, you are not alone. You are part of something much greater, something eternal and vast, that connects all beings across time and space. Zen teaches us that this interconnectedness is the key to peace. When we truly understand that our suffering is not separate from the suffering of others, we naturally respond with kindness, with care. And when we see that our joy is part of the joy of the world, we live more fully and with greater gratitude. Let this awareness of interconnectedness fill your heart as you rest tonight. You are not separate from the world. You are the world, and the world is you. In this deep recognition, you will find peace, compassion, and a sense of oneness that transcends all boundaries. In Zen, the ultimate wisdom does not come from knowledge or understanding in the traditional sense, but from presence and openness to life exactly as it is, without the need for explanation, without the need to control it. This is the wisdom of simply being, without striving, without wanting things to be different. It is a wisdom that transcends the noise of the mind and speaks directly to the heart. Our minds are often filled with thoughts and judgments, constantly evaluating and categorizing everything around us. We interpret the world through the lens of past experiences and future projections, creating a narrative of how things should be or how they could be. But Zen invites us to stop all of this, to simply be present in the moment without any mental commentary. The wisdom of presence is not something we learn or achieve. It is something we uncover by letting go of everything we think we know. When we truly experience the present moment, without the filter of our judgments or expectations, we see the world in its raw, unadulterated form. The simple act of breathing becomes a miracle. The stillness of the night becomes profound. The warmth of the bed beneath us, the gentle rise and fall of our chest, the soft sound of our breath, all of these simple things, when experienced fully, reveal the depth of life itself. Zen Master Dogen once said, "When you are in the world of things, everything becomes the world of the Buddha." What this means is that when we are fully present, when we are completely aware of the world around us, without the interference of our minds, the entire world becomes a reflection of the truth. The trees, the sky, the stars, the people we encounter, all of these are not separate from us, but part of the same reality. In the quiet wisdom of presence, we are united with everything. This is the paradox of Zen. The more we stop seeking, the more we find. The more we let go of our need to control or understand, the more we see clearly. The mind's constant striving for answers and solutions clouds our vision, creating distance between us and the truth. But when we release this striving, we are able to rest in the present, where all things are clear. Take a moment now to experience this quiet wisdom of presence. Allow yourself to fully feel your breath as it moves in and out. Feel the sensations in your body, the weight of your body resting on the bed, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Let go of the need to understand, to judge, or to change anything. Simply be with what is. There is nothing more to do, no place to go. no goal to achieve. In this moment, everything is as it should be. This is the wisdom of Zen. It does not come from doing, but from being. It does not come from thinking, but from feeling. It does not come from striving, but from surrendering. The peace you seek is already within you, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the presence of this moment. As you rest tonight, remember that you don't need to search for peace or understanding. Peace is already here. Wisdom is already here. You need only let go and be present with what is. In that simple act of presence, everything unfolds. Everything becomes clear. One of the most persistent illusions we hold in life is the belief that we can control everything: our thoughts, our emotions, our environment, and even the people around us. From a young age, we are taught that life is something we must manage, that through effort, willpower, and determination, we can bend the world to our desires. This belief in control, however, creates a constant tension within us. We are always striving to make things go our way, to hold on to things, to prevent anything from slipping out of our grasp. But Zen teaches us that the more we try to control, the more we trap ourselves. Control, in its essence, is the belief that we can master life and force it into a specific shape. But life, as we know, is ever-changing, impermanent, and unpredictable. The weather changes, people change, emotions come and go, and the seasons shift with the rhythm of the earth. The only thing that remains constant is change itself. In Zen, the understanding of impermanence is not just a concept, it is a direct experience. To attempt to control something that is inherently fluid is to invite suffering, for we will always be fighting against the tide of life's natural flow. Consider the way we hold on to our thoughts and feelings, believing that if we just think enough or worry enough, we can control the outcome. We replay conversations in our minds, trying to find the perfect response, the one that will create the perfect outcome. We anxiously plan for the future, trying to anticipate every possible scenario and prepare for it. But in doing so, we are constantly caught in a cycle of anxiety, tension, and dissatisfaction. We cannot control the future, and we cannot control the outcome of our actions. We can only act and then let go of the need for a particular result. Zen teaches us that true peace comes not from control, but from surrender. This is not a surrender of weakness, but a surrender of resistance. It is a surrender to the flow of life, to the natural unfolding of events, without the need to control or direct them. It is the wisdom of letting things be as they are, knowing that in their imperfection, they are perfect. Take a moment to reflect on the areas of your life where you are trying to control. Are there thoughts, emotions, or situations that you are trying to hold on to tightly? Perhaps you are struggling with a situation you cannot change, or a person who does not behave as you wish. Zen asks you to release the need to control these things. Instead of clinging, allow them to flow through you. Let go of the tension in your body. Let go of the desire to manipulate outcomes, and simply accept what is. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself releasing the need to control. Imagine yourself floating down a gentle river, the current carrying you forward without effort. The river knows where it is going. and all you need to do is trust its flow. You do not need to swim against it, nor do you need to paddle harder to reach your destination. You simply let go and allow the river to take you. This is the freedom Zen offers, a freedom from the need to control, from the illusion of separation, and from the constant striving that wears us down. In the quiet stillness of sleep, let go of any desire to control your dreams, your thoughts, or your body. Just allow them to come and go without attachment. In this letting go, you will find peace, a peace that is not contingent on outcomes, but simply on being. Remember, the essence of Zen practice is not about fixing life or making it conform to our desires, but about surrendering to it, meeting it as it is, and finding peace within that acceptance. Life will unfold as it will, and your job is not to control it, but to be present with it, to live fully in the flow of its moments. At the heart of Zen lies a profound insight that challenges one of our most deeply held beliefs, the belief in a separate self. We tend to think of ourselves as isolated individuals, distinct and separate from the world around us, with our own desires, fears, and experiences. This sense of separateness, the feeling of being an independent, isolated I, is the foundation of much of our suffering. Zen invites us to see through this illusion, to realize that the self we cling to is not as fixed or independent as we believe. The Buddha's teaching on non-self anatta points to the radical truth that there is no permanent, unchanging essence inside of us that is separate from the world. The I that we so fiercely identify with is nothing more than a collection of experiences, thoughts, and sensations that arise in response to the world. It is not a fixed entity, but a process, constantly changing, constantly influenced by everything around it. This realization can be both freeing and unsettling. For much of our lives, we define ourselves by our thoughts, emotions, relationships, and actions. We cling to the notion that we are a fixed self that is in control of its destiny. But Zen teaches that this very clinging to an idea of self is the source of our suffering. When we identify so strongly with our ego, with the I that is separate from everything else, we inevitably experience fear, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. We fear losing our identity, we fear change, and we resist the flow of life. The beauty of Zen practice is that it invites us to let go of this fixed identity. It asks us to recognize that we are not separate from the world around us. We are not isolated beings struggling against the current of life. We are part of the great interconnected web of existence, a flow of energy and awareness that is ever-changing and ever-present. When we surrender the illusion of the separate self, we can experience the unity of all things, the oneness that underlies all of existence. This surrender is not about losing ourselves, but about realizing that we were never truly separate to begin with. The self we think of as ours is simply an expression of the vast, interconnected whole. When we let go of the illusion of separateness, we experience a profound sense of freedom. We are no longer bound by the limitations of the I and its desires. We are free to experience life fully, without the constant tension of maintaining a fixed identity. Take a moment to reflect on the ways in which you identify with your thoughts, your emotions, your body, or your accomplishments. Do you see yourself as separate from others? As an isolated individual? Do you cling to the idea of yourself as someone who must achieve or prove something? Zen asks you to let go of these attachments. Recognize that the you that you cling to is not separate from the world around you. It is not an isolated, independent entity, but a flowing, ever-changing process that is intimately connected with everything else. When you let go of the need to hold on to a fixed sense of self, you can experience the freedom that comes from simply being, simply existing as part of the whole. As you rest tonight, allow yourself to release any attachment to your sense of self. Let go of the need to define yourself by your thoughts, your past experiences, or your future goals. Simply be. Feel the unity of your breath with the air around you, the way your body is supported by the earth. You are not separate from these things. You are part of them. You are a part of the vast web of life, interconnected and ever-changing. In the stillness of the night, let go of the illusion of separateness and rest in the awareness that you are not just a self, but the awareness that perceives the entire universe. In this awareness, there is no I, no separation, only the flow of life unfolding as it is. In this surrender, you will find peace, a peace that comes from recognizing the unity of all things. Zen meditation, or Zazen, is often described as simply sitting, being fully present with whatever arises in the mind. But at its core, Zen meditation is not just about sitting quietly. It is about transcending the very process of thinking itself, breaking free from the continuous stream of thoughts that usually dominate our consciousness. It's about seeing through the illusion of a fixed self and connecting directly with the truth of the present moment, where there is no need for thought, no need for analysis, and no need to hold on to any particular idea. Our minds are constantly busy, endlessly producing thoughts, stories, judgments, and narratives. This endless mental activity often leads us away from the present moment, into a world of past regrets or future anxieties. We think and think and think, hoping that somewhere in that constant stream of thought, we will find the answers we seek. But Zen then tells us that the answers are not found in the thoughts themselves, but in the space between them. The practice of Zazen is the art of being with whatever arises in the mind without getting caught up in it. When we sit in meditation, thoughts will inevitably come. Memories, worries, plans, desires, all will rise to the surface. But instead of following these thoughts, Zen invites us to simply observe them, to watch them come and go without attachment. Just as clouds move across the sky without leaving a trace, so too do thoughts move through the mind, and we are not bound by them. In Zazen, the key is to not engage with the thoughts. We do not need to push them away or fight against them. We simply allow them to come and go without identifying with them. It is in this practice of non-attachment to thought that the true freedom of Zen is found. We realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness in which these thoughts arise. When we sit with this awareness, we begin to experience the present moment more fully. The thoughts no longer define us. The past and future no longer dominate our consciousness. We are free to simply be. The true depth of Zen meditation is in this surrender of the thinking mind. In our ordinary experience, we are constantly defined by our thoughts, by the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we need. But in Zazen, we let go of the need for these stories. We are simply present, aware, and alive. This is not to say that thinking is bad or unnecessary. Thoughts have their place. They help us navigate the world, solve problems, and reflect on our lives. But when we are overly identified with our thoughts, we become trapped in a mental prison. Zen meditation invites us to experience the space beyond thought, the stillness in which our true nature is revealed. Take a moment now, even as you lie in bed, to simply observe the thoughts that arise in your mind. Notice how they come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky. Do not try to stop them or change them. Just observe them, and as you do, feel the space in between, the silence, the stillness that exists before and after each thought. This is the heart of meditation, not trying to control or change your thoughts, but simply allowing them to be, knowing that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which they arise. As you continue to relax into sleep tonight, let go of any thoughts about needing to understand or achieve anything. Let go of any judgments about the thoughts that come and go in your mind. Simply be with whatever arises and allow yourself to rest in the awareness that you are not your thoughts, but the space in which they occur. In that space, you will find peace. In Zen, one of the most powerful and transformative practices is the acceptance of impermanence. And perhaps no experience reflects this truth more clearly than death. While many of us live in fear of death, avoiding it, resisting it, or thinking of it as the end, Zen invites us to confront it directly, to see it not as an enemy, but as a natural part of the cycle of life. By embracing death not as something to be feared, but as a part of the great flow of existence, we are freed from the grip of fear and can live more fully in the present moment. The Buddha himself, in his journey of awakening, did not shy away from the reality of death. He saw death as an integral part of life, something to be acknowledged, but not feared. In fact, it is in accepting the reality of death that we can begin to truly live. Death is not something separate from life, but a natural continuation of the impermanence that defines everything in existence. In Zen, the practice of reflecting on death is not morbid or depressing, but deeply liberating. When we realize that our time is limited, when we come face to face with the inevitability of death, we are reminded of how precious each moment is. The Zen master Dogen, in his writings, emphasized that we should live each moment as if it were our last, not out of fear or anxiety, but out of deep appreciation for the fleeting nature of life. By remembering that we are mortal, we cultivate a deeper sense of presence, a deeper awareness of the preciousness of our experience. One of the most famous Zen stories is about a monk who was asked by his teacher, "What is the meaning of life?" The monk responded, "Life is like a candle flame, burning brightly for a short time before it is extinguished." The teacher then asked, "And what is the meaning of death?" The monk replied, "Death is like the wind, blowing through the trees and scattering the leaves. It is not something to be feared, but something that is part of the natural world. In this story, death is not an end, but a transformation, a return to the flow of life that continues beyond our individual existence. Death, in Zen, is seen as a reminder to live fully, to let go of attachment to our sense of self, to our desires, and to our need for control. It is a call to embrace the present moment, to live with awareness, compassion, and gratitude for the time we have. In Zen, we are not asked to reject or deny death, but to face it with acceptance and peace. Death is not a shadow that looms over us, but a part of the great dance of life. And by accepting it, we are able to live more fully. As you lie here tonight, reflect on the impermanence of life. Know that you are part of this vast, ever-changing world. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, these too are impermanent, and they will one day change or pass. But this does not mean that life is to be feared. In fact, it is the awareness of impermanence that allows us to live with greater freedom, with greater appreciation for the present moment. The more we accept death as a natural part of life, the more we are free to live fully in each moment, without fear or hesitation. As you drift towards sleep, let go of the fear of death, knowing that it is not something to be avoided or resisted. It is a part of you, a part of the world, a part of the flow of life. In this acceptance, you will find peace, a peace that transcends the fear of endings, a peace that comes from understanding that life and death are not separate, but interconnected, like the ebb and flow of the tide. When you wake in the morning, remember that death is not something that waits for us at the end of life. It is already with us, in every breath, in every moment. The practice of embracing death is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process of letting go, of living fully, and of finding peace in the impermanence of everything. Life, then, not as if you are running from death, but as if you are walking alongside it, appreciating each step, each breath, each moment as it is. There is nothing to fear, nothing to resist. There is only life in all its impermanence and beauty, and in that we find our freedom